Hello and welcome back. In this episode, we'll be making the hexagonal tiles that can be used to base the tiny houses and the tiny trees that you've seen in the last couple of videos. And, as always, you can find a link to the PDF file down in the description. So yeah, let's get started. Okay then, the first thing we'll need to do is print out one of the pages from the PDF. However, a few people have suggested or inquired about using label paper for some of this stuff, so I thought I would give it a try with these hex tiles. So, as you can see, I've actually printed this one out on a sheet of sticky back paper. Anyway, once we've got one of those printed out, we'll need to cut one of the hexes roughly to size, and for my own tiles, I'll be using some black foam core. So, all we'll need to do now is peel the backing off the sticky paper, like so, and then stick that to the foam core. And because there's no drying time with this, we can start cutting that to size straight away. So yeah, while it is a bit more expensive to use label paper, it is a good option. But obviously, you could still print this out on regular paper and glue that onto cardboard. This is just another option that you might like to consider. Anyway, when that's done, this is how it should look. And that's pretty much all there is to it. However, you may have noticed that I've also included a grass, a stone and a dirt texture in the PDF, and you could use any of these to cover the edges of the tiles, if that's something you'd like to do. But for my own set, I kinda like the black edges, so I'm gonna leave them as they are. So yeah, it's all starting to come together now. We finally have a base for all of those little trees and houses. That being said, you might like to hold off gluing any of these in place just yet, because in the next video we'll be making some fields and fences and all that kind of stuff. Basically, some of the things that you can see here. So, I don't know, you might like to wait until you've got your hands on all of these different pieces before sticking anything down permanently. But yeah, you've probably also noticed a little sheep on this one, and I've actually included these in the corners of this PDF file, just to fill up some of the empty space. So we'll have a go at making those next. Okay then, so all I've done here is glue one of the little star shapes to some black card, and then we can trim that to size with a sharp knife. And as you can see, I'm not using a ruler or anything like that. I'm just cutting them as straight as I can, making sure that I press down hard in all of the little corners. And there you go, there's the little star shape. Next, we'll need to take a pair of scissors and just cut off the very tip of each of the points. And yeah, because it's so tiny, it's a bit hard to see. So, to recap, I've stuck it to some black card, trimmed it to size, and then cut away the very tip of each point. Then we'll need to take a toothpick and simply bend the whole thing around the end of that toothpick just to give it a nice curved shape. And if I can get it the right way around, this is what it should look like. Now, for the cow or ox, we'll do a similar thing. So, we'll first stick it to some black card, but when cutting it to size, we'll also cut along the inside of the horns, i.e. the red line that you can see here, and then trim off the ends, just like before. Then, when we bend the whole thing around a toothpick again, we can bend the horns back up into their original position, using the end of the toothpick, and that should result in something that looks like this. But yeah, looking at them here, they don't look like anything special, but if I bring in the finished hex tile again, you can see the effect I'm going for. But, you know, if you think they're not worth the effort, or too fiddly, then you can of course ignore them altogether. As I say, I mainly included them as I had some extra space to fill on the page. And speaking of filling space on the page, I've also squeezed in a couple of market stalls. And to make these, we'll stick one side to a piece of cereal box cardboard, and we'll cut the other side exactly to size. Then we can cut out the cardboard piece, like you can see here, and we'll also score along the two black lines. Next, we'll stick the other printout onto the reverse side of the cardboard, and bend along the scored lines, so that we end up with this kind of thing. Then, if we flatten that back out, we can cut out the little grey rectangular shape, which is exactly what you can see me doing here. So, here's how it looks right now, and if I bend that back into shape, There we go. There's our little market stall, and I've supplied these in a few different colours. So yeah, if we want to add a little market area to our settlement, we can now do that as well. And if I just try to tilt that back a bit, without it all sliding off, you should be able to see them a little bit better. Anyway, I think that's it for this one. So here's a quick look at the kind of thing that we can make with the current PDF files, though, as I say, things will start to look a little bit more rural when we add in the fields and fences in the next episode. So, as always, thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel so inclined, and yeah, bye for now.